call upon our last speaker, Philippe Monloubou, who is the president of the management board of ENEDIS, a major electricity distribution operator in France. Philippe Monloubou has been appointed in October 2015 as the chairman of the French Think Smart Grid Association, which has more than 100 members, and promotes French smart grid sector in France, Europe, and rest of the world, and of course, obviously in India now. With that, I'd like to call upon Mr. Philippe Monloubou and give his presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, and first of all, I would like to say that I'm very honored to be taking part to this session of the Indian Smart Grids Week here in Delhi, and would like to thank you very much, especially to Reggie Kumar, which is the president of the Indian Smart Grid Forum and Global Smart Grid Forum. As it has been said, I'm the president of the managed board of ENEDIS and also the chairman of the French association Think Smart Grids. And well, during my speech, I understood I had to be short. I'll try to share with you our experience in renewables integration and also the development of microgrids, as it has been said, and where we stand today with what we're doing and the huge transformation that we're facing as a distribution system operator. Well, excuse me, I want, of course, comment these numbers just to say that we're a national company with 1.3 million kilometers of medium voltage and low voltage, and also the main and the national DSO with 36 million customers. And we, of course, we're leading one of the European major DSOs, all the transformation also in Europe, because it's a European transformation, it's a worldwide transformation. When you speak about renewables integration and microgrids, you of course speak about energy transition, and just to give you some numbers. In France, the number of are rather important, with nearly 50 gigawatt of renewables capacity already operational. Half of them are coming from hydraulic energy, and the other half is coming from wind and solar. And these about almost 25 gigawatt of wind and solar energy are connected to the distribution grid. More than 90% are connected to the medium voltage and low voltage, with huge number, of course. Now, for example, in France, we have 400,000 generators, of course, very, very small generators, but 400,000. That means that it's a huge transformer of the way we operate the network, on the way we build the network, on the way also we have to anticipate all these transformation. And these transformation, of course, are, as I just said, a sort of huge challenge, but also, as it has been said, allows us to challenge huge opportunities all around the world, with especially microgrids, well, in all isolated parts of the world, small regions, but also islands. Another number is that within only 3 years, or 5 years, we'll probably double the level of wind and solar generation in France. That means that in a very short time we have to face huge challenges on our network. That means, as a president of such a company, that we have also a huge transformation in management, in skills, in investments, in IT system, etc. Data, I will come back on that. I would like to underline that this transformation was already settled as soon as I said that we are a DSO, distribution system operator. We're just only, perhaps 10 years ago, operating only infrastructures. Now we're operating large systems, data system, operating systems. And not only we have to integrate, as I said, renewables at a very high level and a very fast-growing level of renewables, but also in parallel, due to digital transformation, we have also to integrate new behaviors in the way to operate the energy, in the way to consume also energy, and for example, with local energy communities. In France, we develop individual and collective self-consumption communities. It's growing very, very fast. And we estimate that within 2030, we'll have several millions of such self-consumer in France. This is also a huge transformation in the way to connect themselves to the grid, in the way to operate the grid, in the way to balance the grid, in the way to use flexibilities, as it had been said. We have also in parallel because this energy transition is not only connecting renewables energy, it's also developing, I would say, clean, decarbonated mobility. That means that, for example, in France, and of course in India, you have also a very huge challenge with the political decision about the development of electricity, of electrical mobility. In France, we plan with about 7 million points of charge within 2030. That means also, in a very short time, to connect a huge number of capacity, of course, wherever in the territory. And also make power data available. This is the other challenge we face, because we never obtain really the result of energy transition, and we'll never manage to connect these huge numbers of EV charging or renewable and new energies or these new flexibility without a huge number of data. And this we have to face it in a very short time. 5 years ago, we couldn't say we were a data operator. We are now, as a distribution, and we're as a former only infrastructure operator, we're now a big data operator. This is a huge transformation too. So our business model is evolving, strongly evolving, shifting in a very strong manner and in a very short time. This is the challenge we have to face. And this challenge, we have two main leverages. Everybody know them in this room. Smart grids, of course, as we said, and also smart meters because of data. And, it's very easy to say smart grids, but that means, as a huge company as my company, that a very new approach in the way to transforming and to be able to reach this new time scale in which we have to develop such a transformation. First of all, innovation. Only, 10 years ago, we were very centralized in our way to innovate. It's today quite impossible to imagine we could continue with such a way of innovating. So that means that we need to, what we call, to develop open innovation. For example, with my company, we work with more than 100, 200 startups that give us their potential of innovation in such areas that were totally very, very far from our business only some years ago. I mean, for example, IT innovation, health innovation. We can get from these people a lot of innovation. That is a brand new way of managing innovation in our company. And we need it if we want to be on time, on delivery, on energy transition. The other aspect is that in no office here in the room, you can find any business model already written, already delivered. That means that we need a new way also to develop our business. I want to say demonstrators. We have in France about 100 demonstrators, and we're trying to develop them all around the world. We did it on Microgrids in Singapore. We are trying to do it here in India too, because I think it's the only way to be able to deliver on time also this transformation, this huge ability to be able to integrate renewables to face this challenge of development of EV vehicle. Industrialization, also we need to do it in another way. As it has been said at the beginning of my speech, I'm also the chairman of the Think Smart Grid Association, which gathers many companies dedicated to smart grids, more than 100 companies. It's necessary, it's not an option. We need to work and we need to be connected to all this new world, what we call smart grid industry, in France, in Europe, abroad. And if we are here today in India, it's because we need this connection to the rest of the world, especially on smart grids. It's also the new way to industrialize our business, our grid transformation. I said smart grids, and I said also smart meters, because as I said, we need data. Well, of course, smart meters can measure consumption. It's the basic function. But it gives us also the huge amount of data we need. with our program. Bernard is in the room and he's leading this program in France. We have already rolled out 10 million of these meters, and within now 3 years we'll achieve 34 million meters rollout program. We need to maintain this, and we need to reach this objective, because it's the only way for us to get the huge amount of data we need. Data to do what? Data to monitor in a different way our grid. Data to planify and also to operate our grid in another way. Data is also to manage, to develop flexibilities on the grid. Flexibilities were known only a couple of years ago to be only the property of transmission grids operator. It's now a necessity also for distribution grid operators. Data is also for smart charging for electric vehicles. We won't be able to deliver 7 million of point of charge without getting all the information, all the data on that. Smart lighting, etc. Development of self-consumption. Microgrids, huge opportunity on microgrids. We need data to do that. We need data to be able to develop them at a very low cost conditions also, but in very reliable conditions. Very cyber security conditions too, which are the next challenges also we have to face as a grid operator. And as I said, also opportunities, because microgrids, of course, as it has been presented, are representing a huge opportunity for our grid operating business, because many parts of the world today are operating their very small network in very bad conditions, very expensive conditions. It's true that with a low carbon objective, and also they can develop now new conditions of developing even their way to develop themselves, and to reach also new conditions of getting access to health, to business, to commercial conditions. That's why also under the banner of Think Smart Grids, we developed this association, as I said. 100 companies, very small ones, startups, universities, laboratories of research, huge operators, but also manufacturers, etc. We need to do that, and that's the way in France we decided to collectively challenge this new objective on energy transition in a national way, and also in an international way. And I think this is the only issue if we want to challenge the huge CO2 emission objective in the world. This is my own conviction. So that's why we try to connect ourselves to the rest of the world. We did it, as I said, in Singapore, just to be able to address the huge amount of islands. Excuse me for I lost my, okay, Think Smart Grids, which you can see the number of companies which are members of the association. And as I said, we developed a lot of experiences in microgrids. That to be able to answer, not only to be able to get access to a new business, but also to answer, because it's really a need in many regions of the world. So in islands, we have a strong experience in France, of course, in island microgrids, but I'm sure we can develop it in islands, but also many isolated regions, like here in India. It's part of our also common objective to be able to develop new solutions which are adapted, of course, of the environment and different countries. But we need to do that collectively and in strong partnerships if we want to address them in the right conditions, in the right time scale, as I said, and also with the right reliability and the way we can get also all the data which are necessary. Well, I wanted to be short, so sorry, yes. So if we want to, just to give us a very quick conclusion. First of all, as I said, integration of renewables is not only international, regional, but also a very local challenges. That means also it means that for us, which we are operators at a regional scale, at a national scale, we need to be on all the scales, but also micro as well as national as well as international. The political will is there, I would say. And of course, between France and India, this cooperation, this this joint statement on clean energy and on climate change is something that has been settled between our presidents and political responsible, and we have developed a very strategic partnership on that in that way. And in 2 days, the President of France, President Macron, will be there to launch the Solar Alliance, which is a very, very ambitious challenge for the rest of the world, and we'll do it with India especially. Well, the goals also are set, and their achievement is now in the hands of this civil society. This is the new challenge. This is why, as I used to say, the network has been built to connect people, but now it needs to be connected to the rest of the world. It's not exactly the same to connect or to be connected, and so we need to be on the two aspects of our new business. So let me point just 2 points which are very important too. We have been able to tackle them with regulation. We need regulation. We need to exchange on regulation, because regulation is also proper and must be also proper in each country, but we need to share experiences, because regulation is obviously something which underlines, of course, our business. And the second aspect is we need also access to financial sources, because I'm sure you're totally convinced in this room that to be able to tackle the huge challenge we face, we need, of course, huge investments, IT, on network, because we'll need more and more network, even if we're local, even if we are regional. Because our industry is a capitalistic one, and so we need, of course, to address at the best the way to finance them. So, as a conclusion, I am truly convinced, and I believe that French companies and Indian companies from the utilities and smart grid sectors have a lot to share on these subjects, and we're very ready to develop this cooperation. Thank you for your attention.